We're in Super Nintendo World today at Universal Studios Hollywood, and we're here to ride Mario Kart Bowsers Challenge. But not just to ride, to learn. We're doing recon today to find out just how busy this attraction is. In fact, we got an early start getting here at 8:30 a.m. to rope drop. And that's where this story begins. We rope dropped Bowser's Challenge. Did it make any difference? Let's find out. As mentioned, we arrived at bag check around 8:30 a.m., 30 minutes to rope drop. But there was still a pretty good sized crowd waiting for me when I got to the escalators to the lower lot. They let guests in about 5 minutes to 9, and then we very slowly made our way down. This was one of the very interesting rope drop process for the lower lot. Finally touching down all those escalators 14 minutes later. And there was a queue waiting for us at the entrance to the Nintendo World as well. They were pulsing guests into the land about a dozen at a time. That took about 10 minutes, and we finally hit the warp pipe at around 9:25. Now, note that this turned out to be an exceptionally busy day, as we'll cover later in the video, but suffice it to say, your results were varied. We reached the attraction entrance at 9:28 to find the wait time was already 100 minutes. That kind of surprised me as well, but I think this is due to the fact that Universal sells an early entry pass. Not for the whole park, just for Super Nintendo World. For 20 bucks, you can get into Super Nintendo World 1 hour before the park opens, which is a huge advantage for this particular land and this particular attraction. But it's that group of guests that we're competing with early on in the morning, and it's why the queue, I think, took little time getting to an hour and 40 minutes by the time we reached the entrance. Never mind that though. Today we're going through the queue. 8 minutes to go through the first room and up the stairs. Upper exterior level was full as could be, and it took 11 minutes to get through both halves. There's 2 halves in the upper level. It took us 11 minutes to get through all of that before we started heading back downstairs. 6 minutes in this dark room, which I actually enjoy. 7 more minutes in there, and then up the stairs again to reach the balcony, that space in front of Bowser. 12 minutes out there. 12 minutes in that balcony. It felt like days, actually. That really was slow going. And so far, at this point, as we enter what I believe is the very best part of this entire ride, the actual ride included, we've been in this queue now for 47 minutes as we make our way into the interior queue. 47 minutes. But the good thing is that it's been a pretty steady pace. Constant movement for the most part, not terribly sticky, which is something that I think we can all be grateful for. One thing I hate more than any when I'm in a queue is stopping and doing nothing for long stretches at a time. And it's even better because this room that we're in, it makes it all worthwhile, in my opinion. This queue, it's just great. It's great. I love this queue. This queue might just be my most favorite queue in the world. Now, I haven't seen them all, of course, but of the ones I've seen, and, you know, I've seen some pretty good ones, this might be the best, especially if you've played your share of Mario Kart. I'm not just the Disney guy, by the way. I've played more than my share of Mario Kart. I'm actually recording myself playing Mario Kart on the Wii. Those were my very first ever YouTube videos. I had a channel called Rocksteady. That was my handle, Rocksteady. And I made a Ghost Rider me. Is that what they called them? And I recorded my journey to score 99.99 in the multiplayer races, which I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's a big deal. 99.99, you can't do better than that. Anyway, I dug that old channel up. I found it 14 years ago. I uploaded these videos. But you don't have to watch those. You don't have to watch them. That channel isn't monetized. There's no commentary. There's not even sound. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just thought it was funny that I was able to. It's still out there. Those videos of me doing 99.99 is still out there. Man, the memories. So that's why I love this queue. That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to leave this room with, is that I love Mario Kart and I love this queue. We got to the pre-show in another 15 minutes. Goggles in another 7. And we're at our vehicle at 10:48 a.m. That's a grand total. If you're keeping score at home, of 1 hour and 20 minutes. We rope dropped Mario Kart, moved through the queue pretty smoothly, the ride didn't break down or anything, and it was 80 minutes. 20 minutes under the posted wait time, but I'm not sure that I would call this really a win. That's a win for the board, if you ask me. The board was accurate, in my professional opinion. I gotta admit, I was not expecting an hour and 10 minutes. I mean, it wasn't 100 minutes. We beat the clock by half an hour, and it was a smooth moving queue. It kept going and going. There is just a metric ton of people inside that building. But it's too early, I think, to say whether or not it's a better idea to try and rope drop if it's worth it. We can't say if that's the case without going again. So we're back at Mario Kart Bowsers Challenge with a 120 posted standby. And we are gonna go again. By the way, our single rider is still available. Also, already, there's fewer people in this queue than when we arrived at rope drop this morning. So we're saving X number of minutes already. It took, I want to say that took the ground, this, I think it was 20 minutes to get through this lower area. What you just watched, my little preview, was done in post, having been able to review all this footage. I have not, while I'm here in the park live, not been able to review that footage yet. So I don't know exactly what the sections are and what each section required in terms of time. If you have seen our Rise of the Resistance video, you know what I'm talking about. Whenever I do recon on a queue, I break everything up into sections, and so I can look at a section and say, okay, it's going to take this long to do that, and then this number of minutes for that section, et cetera, so that you can sort of do some mental math and figure out how much time you're going to spend. And we have now found officially the back of the queue, which is upstairs. So that's a solid 25 minutes that we just saved. And I feel good about saying that we saved that time because there's no lightning lane, there's no competition. There is the VIP experience, which does have a few guests. I mean, it's a reasonable product and they sell a lot of those, but I don't think it's going to impact our time here very much. So it's pretty much, you should expect the queue to move the same no matter what time of day you're here, and no matter how busy it is. Well, I was way off. I just looked at the timestamps on the videos that I shot, and it was 8 minutes. It took us 8 minutes to get up the stairs, so not quite the time savings that I thought it was, but we'll keep our eye on things. Look at that. We're just about ready to go back downstairs, and you can see now the back of the queue has shrunk. It is now, well, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not near as where it was. It was right about here when we got upstairs on this trip. So the queue is shrinking. one other observation I can make as we reach the ground floor again is that in this time of day, right now it's almost noon, it's a little stickier. The queue is not moving quite as briskly as it was before, and that could be the rope drop effect where there were fewer people. The queue had not reached its full density yet. It has now had time to reach its full density, so it's a little bit stickier. That actually took us longer. We are now going slower. We're at 22 minutes right now to get down to the bottom. It took us 19 minutes to get back downstairs in our first rep, and that included starting at the threshold where from here we started upstairs. Sticky indeed. Okay, so 47 minutes to the interior, the Bowser statue in our first rep. We're now over an hour. I think it was an hour and 6 minutes now, so we're almost 20 minutes behind our previous schedule. And the post wait time is 1:20. I think we're going to use all of that extra 20 minutes, and the P impact is a little stronger than I thought. There's actually a backup here just before we get into the first pre-show room. That's VIP right there. Those are the folks who are paying $375 per person for a guided tour. That's the only way you can jump the line at Mario's Kart, and there is actually a wait there for those guests. Taking a quick break from our recon session to walk through the land, and I've got a couple of updates. First of all, Mario. Gotta stop for Mario, right? He looks great. That's a really good looking walk around character. Okay, so breaking news a little bit, because this is the first time they've done it. But it's fairly new. They've turned on virtual queue. Since I've been in here, in the park today, or in the land today, they had not turned on virtual queue. While I was in my last rep on Mario Kart, they turned on virtual queue. When I was here last visit, I was told by a cast member that they stopped doing that almost completely since September, or thereabouts, right around Halloween Horror Nights. And they haven't been using it for months. But I just looked at the app, and it's on now, and they're booked. They're all gone. Didn't take very long for them to book everything out. And I asked the team member, she said that, yeah, that is really, really new. They did it once last week, she said, and then again today. So we're catching, I'm doing really well catching things at the right time. I mean, it is still the holiday season. Technically, I guess there's a lot of kids here in this land today. So we are still in the holiday season, but this is a Tuesday in January. Now, because the virtual queue is on, that means I can't leave. I am not permitted to leave this place if I ever want to get back in here. The good news is, I was able to get a reservation for Toadstool. Right after we got out, that's the first thing I did was check the wait list. This was booked, I checked this morning when I was in the the queue to get here at the rope drop and could not join the wait list. When I came out of my last ride through, I was able to get a 4:15 reservation, which is, that's also kind of interesting because it's really difficult still to get into Toadstool Cafe. Good fortune on my account because I'll be able to eat because I'm trapped. I am trapped inside of I'm trapped inside of Super Nintendo World. I can't leave. I mean, unless I just want to leave for good and not come back. But so we're going to stick around for that at least. We're going to do our 4:15 Toadstool reservation. For now, let's jump back in. Let's do another rep. But this time, I'm going to show you how advantageous it is to go via single rider. Oh, look at the back of the queue has grown. Our last ride, it shrunk. Now it has grown, possibly? Or that could have just been a pinch. I don't know, we'll see, but we're not going to go that way. Oh no, he had the rope up there for a second, but then he just opened it up again. So single rider. As soon as you go through the threshold, turn right. That's how you get to single rider. We've already reached the back of the single rider queue. Oh my goodness gracious. And this is where they dump you, where you begin. Right out here, you're upstairs right away in front of the entrance to Bowser's Castle. This is going to be a bit of a grind. And that's exactly when I should have known that this is a bad time to get into the single rider queue, because that queue is way too long, and you can scout this queue. Let me just say up front, if you can see the queue, to the left corner like that, that's not the right time to get into single rider. You want to see the queue after you've made the right turn, the end of the queue, the back of the queue, after you've made that right turn before you go indoors into the hall. That's where you want to see the queue if you can. Anyway, it took us, just to get from this point to get across the path and make that right turn into the hallway, 40 minutes. It took 40 minutes just to go down one length of queue. And it was kind of torture because we're doing a lot of the things that I hate, and that's standing around doing nothing. And it was in this exact spot that I then spent the next 15 minutes. We did not move, literally, for 15 minutes. We were stuck in that hall for 15 minutes. And again, there was no breakdown. Now, why that is will require more analysis, but I do have an hypothesis. I think it's all about the car math. Mario Kart vehicles have 4 seats. 4 seats, 2x2, is the perfect sized ride vehicle to fit a typical group size. I believe the majority of groups are even numbered, and that is mostly due to the couple factor. The predominant situation in a theme park is couples. If you were to say that there's one arrangement of guests, it's the couple. But you can even expand that. Groups of 2, 4, 6, you name it. As long as they're an even number, you can Tetris the heck out of those vehicles without ever needing to dip into the single rider queue. Single riders, they require groups of 3 or 5 or even other singles in order to find a spot. And those are simply less common. I mean, it's not like they don't exist, but I think that there is, on the average, more even-numbered groups than there are odd-numbered groups. It's why Radiator Springs Racers is considerably more efficient at cycling singles. Radiator Springs Racers goes through way more singles at a much faster clip. The vehicles, they are 6 seats, total, yes, but it's split into 2 groups of 3. So now that common setup, the couple, they leave an extra seat. Perfect for a single rider. Same for the Matterhorn. 1 hour and 22 minutes in single ride. 1 hour and 22 minutes. Mario Kart. Board still says 120, but the back of the queue. I don't even know where it is. I don't even know where the back of the queue is. How am I supposed to keep doing this? I don't know how much more of this I can take. I think I've got one more rep in me today. But this has just been a grind. I thought I would get at least a little bit of a break. But I think I would have preferred to wait in the 2-hour queue instead of that 110 for single rider because it just doesn't move. You just stand there. Hopefully I got into enough detail in the commentary about why that is. But this is just grueling, man. Wow. I hope this video winds up being useful for you guys. That's all I can say. I think this is the back of the queue. I don't even know. I can't tell. There's this, I don't know. I don't know if there's a better way of doing this or not. I suppose Disney probably might have or would have found a way, but okay, this is queue, I think. No, I'm not going to get in it yet. I've got a little bit of time to kill. I'm going to do lunch, dinner first. Starving. I can't leave though. I can't leave. I'm going to do that first, then we're going to do one more rep, I think. And we'll have been here. I've already been here for 6 hours. 6 hours and 3 reps. By the way, I forgot to remember that, earlier I said that I was trapped. Single day tickets are trapped. I am not. I have a pass. I have the Platinum Pass. And that gets me in 3 o'clock. That gets me into, I can use Express Lane. And it also gives me access to Nintendo World. I don't have to have a virtual queue. You can just show up at 3 o'clock and get in. Okay. So darkness has fallen here in Super Nintendo World. We're gonna give this one more go. Presently at 120 minutes. It is about 5:30 in the evening. Yep. Probably not till the afternoon at least. Well, it turned out not to be much better at all. 1 hour, 46 minutes. I thought we were going to save some time, but not a lot. And since we recorded the first 3 ride-throughs, this one is for me. I think I'm going to actually try to play this time. Man, what a day. I've been here for 10 hours. 10 hours at least. I don't even know. Is it 7:30? 7:30, 10 and a half hours I've been here. 4 times. All I did was ride Mario Kart Bowsers Challenge 4 times and have some lunch. And my entire day was spent doing that. Incredible. Final conclusions. I don't think that there's really any breaks to be had here. There's minor, I mean, we just did 145 on that last walkthrough, or the last ride through, 145, hour 45 that is. I just walked in front of the attraction now at 7:30. It said it's 120 minutes, but having said that, you can tell that the land is obviously less full than it was earlier today. So it took 10 hours for it to get like this. This might be a good chance. I'm not gonna go. I mean, I have half a mind, but I'm exhausted and I don't think I have one more ride through in me. But I would be willing to bet that 120 is a little high. But otherwise, man, it is tough sledding here. And there's no discounts. There's no shortcuts. Well, there is one shortcut. There's 2 shortcuts. 3. Single rider, but I mean barely, because that was excruciating. But I have a feeling, as we mentioned in the last, it's just a matter of timing and when you get there at the right moment. But it's very slow process. The single rider is very slow. Not at all like Radiator Springs Racers. Second option is you can get that VIP pass, which I think is $375. I gotta double check that actually. I saw a bunch of VIPs going through there, obviously. So that's one way to go. And then there's also the one where you can actually buy early entry. You can purchase early entry just for this land. You can get into the land, Mario Town, an hour before the park opens, and that gives you all the time you need to do everything in here. Obviously, you can be done with this before 9 o'clock. You can hit your one ride through on Mario Kart and even do some of the mini games as well, because there's going to be significantly fewer people in the park. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but I'm going to mention it now just in case. But all in, I would say the times posted are close, at least. Small sample. We've only been at this for this one trip. 4 rides today, and then I've done a couple more. I want to say though, I don't think this is seasonal because I have been here many times throughout the course of the past, well, a little less than a year now, like 9 months. And it's been like this every single time I've been here. No breaks, no matter what time of year. I mean, it is, like I said, it's still a holiday, but I mean, technically, but it's been like this no matter when I come. So I don't believe that this is strictly a holiday thing. We'll come. We'll try again in February. We'll see what happens. But this is how it is. Busy, always. Be prepared. I'll try to chart a path, at least in terms of, so that you know in your head how long it's going to be as you're going through. Hopefully that's what we just did in this video. Like I said, I'm shooting this. I got a whole bunch of post edits in my mind that hopefully I did in this video. Otherwise, I hope this was educational. I hope this was informative. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for more Fresh Baked as we cover more of this, more from Universal, more from Knott's, and of course more from Disneyland, which will be there tomorrow. I'm back in the parks tomorrow. APs are back open. Till then, follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's Fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. And if you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/FreshBaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.